Coming up on Citrus TV News, Syracuse University endorses a solution to the I-81 issue. Find out what the chancellor had to say.
And with graduation just weeks away, hotels are filling up. Citrus TV reporter Landon Wexler is here with how far your family may have to stay.
And Congress calls for the full Mueller report after the release of the special counsel's redacted version. Citrus TV analyst Brandon Ross is here to break it all down. Citrus TV News starts right now.
Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Syracuse University is officially endorsing the community grid option to replace I-81. Good evening. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Shama. Earlier this afternoon, Chancellor Ken Syverud sent out an email to the student body endorsing the community grid. The grid system would abolish part of I-81 that divides the city and reroute traffic onto local streets. Now, there are currently other replacement options on the table. Syracuse University had been silent on the issue until today's chancellor's announcement. Syracuse Common Councilor and grid supporter Joe Driscoll told Citrus TV he thinks it's great SU officials raised their voice on the decision. He previously said he envisioned some of the grid being lined with student housing.
I think if we can get university students willing to walk down from the hill to downtown and kind of occupy those spaces in those corridors, we could potentially create communities that were not so segregated, not so divided.
And a heads up as you walk to class next week for the last full week of classes. Next week, the city of Syracuse will repair sidewalks along Comstock Avenue from Waverly Avenue to Euclid. The construction aims to add accessible ramps and bike lanes, and work is slated to finish by the end of July. And a Tony Award-winning play is coming to the Syracuse stage. The Humans won the 2016 Tony for Best Play, was a runner-up for the Pulitzer Prize for Drama that year. The play takes the stage at Archibald Theater on April 24th, and tickets end May 12th. Tickets are on sale on the Syracuse Stage's website or at their box office. And graduation for Syracuse's class of 2020 is more than a year away. However, families might have to start thinking about their travel plans sooner than they think. Our Citrus TV reporter Landon Wexler, reports.
We're scrambling right now to find a hotel. Literally as we speak, I had to send my mom the dates because she's freaking out that I didn't give her the details sooner because everything's booked.
2020 Syracuse University graduates are facing the harsh reality that graduation is right around the corner. While parents are facing the harsh reality, they need to book a hotel room for next year within the next month. The general manager of the Syracuse University Sheraton, David Heyman, says getting a hotel room on the University Hill is harder and more expensive than you might expect.
$499 and up. I mean, the rates are high, maybe over $500, and premium suites would be even higher than that. So it's basically we're selling rack rate. There's no discounts.
Not to mention rooms around campus sell out fast. The chief operating officer of Woodbine Hospitality Group, which owns the Hotel Schuyler, was not available for an interview, but he says he expects the rooms to sell out in about 15 minutes on May 8th. That's when they plan to start taking reservations.
If that $500 price tag per night doesn't scare you away and you call the right day, time, a year in advance, then the Sheraton, the Hotel Schuyler, and the Crowne Plaza look to be the hotels to turn to for proximity to campus. But if you want to save a few bucks, more and more people are logging on to Airbnb.
Since the hotels sell out so fast, they've started to look at Airbnbs lately. And honestly, even around campus, there isn't a lot of Airbnbs, so they've been even looking more outwards to like areas in the Finger Lakes, like 30 minutes away.
Plus, tonight on campus, attendees are gearing up for the Under the Peel concert. The event starts at 7:30 and is at Hendricks Chapel. Organizers say the concert aims to showcase a diverse number of musicians from the university. Dr. Danny will be the guest headliner, and the event is free to the public.
We wanted to accomplish our mission, which is to increase musical exposure on campus and to give people an opportunity to perform. And Under the Peel kind of solves that exact goal.
And Hendricks Chapel is holding Christian services for the Easter Triduum. The Triduum is a period of 3 days that begins Thursday evening and ends on Easter Sunday. Hendricks will host services tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. Hendricks' Friday service started at noon today, and their Easter vigil will begin at 7:30 tomorrow night. And this semester marks the 2 years of the organization Chaarg. Citrus TV's Anna Azallion reports the organization has grown in several ways in the past 2 years.
Chaarg has been on campus doing weekly workouts like this for 2 years. To Megan Manicha, the organization is more than just a group of women working out, though.
Really never met girls like I've met in Chaarg that are just really empowering and like want you to be your best self.
This is one of the things that drew Manicha to continue with Chaarg after her first year. She hasn't been with the organization from the beginning, though.
I actually transferred to Syracuse University last year, and I found Chaarg through the enrollment fair. So I was just a member all of last year, and I really loved it and fell in love with like everything that the organization stands for. So then I ended up applying to be the ambassador, and I ended up getting it. So that's why I came to be here.
Grace McNeil has been with the organization since its founding at Syracuse and says it's grown from a group of friends to a bigger organization.
Kind of when Chaarg began, it was more of like the friends of the people that started it, and now it's girls from all around campus.
Now over 200 women are signed up for the weekly group and small group workouts. Manicha says the Tuesday night group workouts range from Pure Barre to kickboxing to everything in between.
Kind of all across the board, different workouts, so it's been really cool to allow our members to try all different workouts like across the spectrum.
Weekly workouts like Pure Barre, which is wrapping up behind me, is part of the weekly schedule of every girl in Chaarg. But there's more to the organization than just the weekly workouts.
Women in Chaarg also attend weekly small group workouts and social events put on by the organization. Manicha says there's something else that's her favorite part, though.
I think my favorite part is probably the community.
Anna Azallion, CitrusTV News.
Now, Elijah, the weather's warming up in Syracuse, but with that comes some rain.
Yeah, that's right. Citrus TV weather anchor Greg Bradbury is outside on Waverly Avenue. What can we expect, Greg?
Yeah, guys, well, right now it is just a slight drizzle out here, but it's just the calm before the storm. The National Weather Service has issued a hazardous weather outlook. Now, what that means is that there's going to be strong rains coming down in intermittent periods throughout the night. But right now, the temperature is just 66 degrees with 70% humidity in the area. But as we move towards tonight, those temperatures are going to be just above 60 degrees, and the humidity is going to pick up as well as those strong rains move into the area. Now, with that being said, the question is, when will this rain go away? I'll let you know in my full weather forecast coming up. Jack and Elijah, back to you guys.
All right, Greg, thank you. New details at the fairgrounds, where the menu at the New York State Fair is set to get even bigger, as several Syracuse businesses are joining the food options at the fair. Local bakery The Sweet Praxis is headed to the Dairy Building, and new Vietnamese food and pierogies are set to join the International Building. The State Fair is just 4 months away. And about $10 million are heading to cities in central New York as part of a state mission to revitalize downtown areas. Governor Andrew Cuomo and legislators released the 2020 enacted budget that shows a total of $100 million will be divided between other cities in New York State. And New York City legislators are weighing whether to ban fur products. Activists say that wearing fur is inhumane and causes undue violence to animals. The city would follow similar efforts in San Francisco and Los Angeles if the proposed ban were to go into effect.
And check out this video from New York City. About 100 people joined together to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge for Good Friday. It's called the Way of the Cross ritual, and across the world, Christians walk to observe the events of the Holy Weekend. And tomorrow, you'll be able to visit national parks for free. Parks in New York State, including the Erie Canalway, as well as Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty down in New York City, are all part of the program. The free admission comes as part of National Park Week, as parks around the country host special events.
And coming up after the break, Democrats are not satisfied with the redacted Mueller report. Find out why they are now demanding a subpoena for the original report.
Plus, an investigative journalist was murdered in Northern Ireland today. Find out why officials are calling the incident a terrorist attack. We'll be right back.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Now, just over a day after the release of the redacted Mueller report, congressional Democrats are calling for the full version.
Yeah, that's right. Citrus TV correspondent Brandon Ross is here in studio to tell us what will happen in the next coming weeks. Brandon?
Well, Elijah, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler has issued a full subpoena, or rather a subpoena for the full report along with all the underlying evidence included. He's asking for it to be submitted by May 1st, but he's probably not going to get it, and the road forward from there could be very complicated. The black redaction marks in the Mueller report released yesterday frustrated Congressman Nadler, who said this is just the latest attempt by Attorney General William Barr to stymie the investigation.
Barr has so far refused to work with the committee to provide us with information, the kind of information that has been customarily provided in the past and to which the Judiciary Committee is entitled.
Nadler's subpoena attempt is very likely to be met by a legal challenge from the Department of Justice. But not only that, Nadler is getting flack from inside his own committee. The House Judiciary Committee's top Republican, Doug Collins, said, and I quote, "Today's subpoena is wildly overbroad. It commands the department to provide Congress with millions of records that would be plainly against the law to share because the vast majority of these documents came as a result of nearly 2,800 subpoenas from a grand jury that is still ongoing." That grand jury is one of the reasons for some of the redactions in the report released yesterday. Other reasons include protecting information pertinent to other ongoing investigations, protecting some of the investigative techniques, and keeping private information for some of the third-party individuals in the report that weren't suspect of any crimes. Now, on top of that subpoena, Nadler says he's planning a number of major hearings on the report, and that'll likely include calling Mueller himself to testify.
All right, our Brandon Ross reporting here live. Brandon, thank you. Staying on the Hill now, former Vice President Joe Biden will be joining the Democratic presidential race next week. That's according to his advisors. It's the third time Biden will have run for president after campaigns in 1988 and 2008.
Discussions on exactly how and when his announcement will take place are still taking place and are subject to change.
Now, if the report is true and Biden enters the race, there will be a total of 20 Democratic candidates eyeing the Democratic nod for president.
And in California, prosecutors sentenced a couple who say they beat, starved, and held 12 of their children captive in their own home.
The husband and wife pled guilty to the crimes in court back in February. Now today, prosecutors sentenced them to life in prison. The judge also ruled that they would be eligible for parole after serving 25 years.
The details of the abuse came to light last January after one of the daughters escaped the home and called 911.
And the Centers for Disease Control says this year is the longest flu season in recorded history.
This is the 21st week of elevated flu activity in the United States. This is 1 week longer than the previous record that was made in 2014. At least 36 million cases of influenza have been reported this season.
The CDC says the severity of the flu season is moderate overall, and last year was the most severe flu season in recent decades.
And the latest in Europe, where police in Northern Ireland are treating an incident in which a journalist was shot as a terrorist attack.
The death of Lyra McKee comes one day before the anniversary of the Good Friday Agreement that ended decades of violence in Ireland. According to the BBC, police say an organization known as the New IRA is suspected to be responsible.
McKee was an investigative reporter, editor, and was considered a notable media figure in 2016 by the Forbes 30 Under 30 list.
And talks between the U.S. and Japan are starting up as relations with North Korea come to a standstill.
This comes just after North Korea announced they would no longer negotiate with Mike Pompeo. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is meeting with Japanese Foreign Minister Taro Kono at the White House.
The U.S. and Japan held a joint press conference where Kono said the U.S. and Japan have a strategy for North Korea.
To implement Security Council resolution until North Korea CVID all the weapons of mass destruction.
And as construction starts on the Notre Dame Cathedral, a beekeeper found that 180 bees that lived in the roof survived.
How wild is this, Elijah? Officials thought the flames killed the bees, which live in 3 hives on the roof. They have reportedly been there since 2013.
And the historians at the cathedral have made sure to protect them as part of a Paris-wide effort to help prevent the bees from dying off.
Now coming up, severe weather slams into the southern United States.
Our Citrus TV weather anchor Greg Bradbury will have that and more after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Here we can look at some of the current temperatures across central New York. For the most part, mid-60s, except for over here in Rochester, where it's 48 degrees, a little bit colder over there. But other than that, here in Syracuse, a nice 67, down in Ithaca, 66, up in Rome, 65. And while it is a little bit warmer, there are going to be some showers moving in through the region. As you can see, these showers are making their way up through central New York, and they're going to be bringing with it a number of heavy rainstorms throughout the night and into tomorrow morning. Now, as we look at tomorrow, you can see overnight storms are going to be coming in through the night, but they're going to taper off in the morning. If you right around 9 a.m., it's going to be about 58 degrees. And then as you move to 3 p.m., it's going to get a little bit warmer of 73. There's going to be a high tomorrow of 75 degrees. And then around 6 p.m., it is going to go back down into the 60s. But as we look at our 5-day forecast, you can see Sunday is going to be a very nice day. A little bit of cloud coverage throughout the day. 65 degrees going to be the high, 51 the low. And Monday is going to be nice as well. Mostly cloudy once again, 63 degrees the high and 50 the low. But when you look towards Tuesday and Wednesday, those showers are going to be making a comeback. 68 degrees on Tuesday, so a little bit warmer, and those thunderstorms will be sweeping the region. But Wednesday morning when you wake up, we are going to have some morning showers, so stay on the lookout for that throughout your class. Now, severe weather continues across the south today. Storms spread across the mid-Atlantic and southeast states last night and brought with it heavy rainfall and severe tornadoes. 3 people have died and 100,000 people were left without power. The storms are currently over the East Coast in Florida and Virginia. Now coming up, David, what do you have for us in sports?
Coming up in sports, Syracuse men's lacrosse heads to Navy for the first time since 1982. Plus the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs, and some baseball. Wow, it's a busy time of year. Don't touch the remote.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Syracuse men's lacrosse has now finished with a conference record of 500 or better for the 5th straight season. The Orange capped off ACC play last weekend at North Carolina with a win, but before the regular season comes to a close, why not one more non-conference game? 7th-ranked Syracuse plays Navy tomorrow at 5 p.m. And before you get anchors away stuck in your head, let's remember that Syracuse is 8-3 on the season and only lost to one unranked opponent, and that was the first game of the year in February. So SU head coach John Desko says he's not worried.
We have 2 or 3 different options that I've used against zones, and we've been practicing them at least once, twice a week all season long. So we feel we're prepared for a team that runs a zone defense.
A win would give Syracuse its first winning streak of 4 or more games since 2017. And Syracuse tennis is in the ACC tournament. Despite losing the final 3 matches of the season, the Orange beat Georgia Tech yesterday to move on to the quarterfinals today. 30th ranked SU is playing number 2 North Carolina this evening, but play paused a little bit over an hour into the match when a tornado warning was announced. But now play has resumed. The team's back in action. UNC currently leads 1-0 after doubles. SU lost 6-1 and 6-2. And more weather making itself known. While it was a warm day here in Syracuse, a perfect 70 degrees for baseball, April showers have taken over. Tonight's Syracuse Mets game has been postponed. Syracuse now plays a doubleheader tomorrow to open the 3-game home series against the Pawtucket Red Sox. Game 1 scheduled for 1 p.m. with the second game to follow. This is the Mets' third postponed game of the season, which is only 2 weeks old to date. But in the major leagues, the show must go on. The MLB Mets are in St. Louis to begin a 3-game series and cap their 10-game road trip. Jason Vargas starts on the mound for the Blue and Orange, with Jacob deGrom's start pushed to tomorrow because he has strep throat. Meanwhile, the Yankees play Game 2 of 4, hosting the Royals. CC Sabathia makes his second start of the season, returning from an off-season heart procedure. And on the ice, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, we've already seen an upset with the second wild card eliminating the first seed Tampa Bay Lightning. Tonight, it could happen again. The second wildcard Avalanche is freezing the first-seeded Flames and can take the series with a win tonight. The Colorado looking to move past the first round of the playoffs since 2000-2008 would be the first time since then. In Boston, the Bruins host the Maple Leafs in a tied series. Center Sean Kuraly is back in the lineup for Boston, the first time since surgery on his broken hand in March 22nd. And playoffs continue on the hardwood as well. Tonight in the East, it's the Raptors and the Thunder in the West, Raptors and the Magic in the East, Celtics, Pacers in the East, Trailblazers and the Thunder over in the West. Tomorrow, the Brooklyn Nets play Game 4 against the 76ers. The Nets currently trail 2-1.
All right, David, so talking about lacrosse, the ACC tournament coming up, what's Syracuse's seed looking like?
Well, right now, Syracuse actually doesn't know what seed they are. Syracuse does know that it will be playing North Carolina no matter what happens. But the thing is that North Carolina and Notre Dame need to play the deciding ACC game. If UNC wins, they're going to have the second seed. If Notre Dame wins, then Syracuse will have the fourth seed just because of the way that all these tiebreakers work. Syracuse, Duke, and whoever wins that game.
All right, David, big matchups coming up for sure. David, thank you. Coming up, one last look at your weather and a somber goodbye.
Stay tuned.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. We bring back our weather anchor, Greg Bradbury, for one last look at our weather. Now, beautiful day so far today. What's the weekend looking like? My friend Mike Riccardi wants to go golfing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, if his tee time's set for early tomorrow morning, there might be a couple showers in the morning, but if you take a look at our 3-day forecast, you'll be able to see that those showers are going to go away as the weekend moves on. Going to be nice and warm tomorrow. 75 degrees, and then as you move throughout the weekend, Sunday is going to be pretty nice, and Monday is going to be a good day as well, and it finally appears that spring is here, and those showers we're seeing are going to hopefully bring some Mayflowers.
All right, Greg, hoping for those Mayflowers, certainly. Greg, thank you very much. We're ending tonight's show with a somber goodbye to our Citrus TV seniors here on Friday News, who have been producing great content for us for years, and chief among them, David Edlestien here, our sports anchor. When was this photo taken, David?
That photo? Oh, that was a long time ago. I was an MSG varsity reporter, high school reporter, and I was covering the Harlem Wizards, which is like the Globetrotters minor league team, a trick basketball team. So that was, wow, where'd you find that?
Oh man, we had to go back into the Facebook catalogs to get that I think.
Just some light stalking, and we move to our director, Matthew Weasel there, and he's sitting in the control room right now, but as you can see, he's come a long way, but he's always been behind the boards throughout it all. He's played a tremendous role in Citrus TV moving forward since I was a freshman.
Really doing a fantastic job every week. Of course, my co-anchor, Elijah Shama, who has anchored some fantastic shows over the years, our election special in 2018. Oh man, how long ago was that taken, Elijah? that is an old picture.
That is actually after the first show that I was ever on for Talking Points. I'll actually be doing my last show for Talking Points this coming Monday.
Poetic. Of course, our final goodbye goes to our executive producer, Kate Wine, who has been producing since her sophomore year. And I was actually on weather when I was a freshman, when she was a sophomore. It's difficult to say goodbye.
Looking at that picture now, one of the greats. You really cannot say anything more about Kate Wine. She's just the best. And
that's all the time we have for tonight. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'm Jack Watson.
And for the final time this semester, I'm Elijah Shama. Have a great and wonderful evening, Syracuse.